All right. This one is going to be one that, like, get your finger over the unsubscribe button right now.
Hey, welcome to Super Social Club. I'm Jeremy.
This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob.
Welcome to the Whisky Rant Podcast.
It's a little crusty.
It's frustrating.
And it's going to be a little bit of a rant.
I don't understand it. I don't know why.
Some sort of injustice.
Anyway, end rant.
Hello and welcome back to the Whisky Rant Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Rob.
Tonight we are doing Overrated, Overpriced, which is a Whiskey in the Six staple. How many times have you done that before?
I've done it almost every single year.
Like, it's like an annual thing.
Yeah, once a year. We did it once together.
Yeah.
And then last year I did it on my own, and it did really, really well. And people were asking me in the last little while, hey, when's the next Overrated, Overpriced?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I could do it on my own, but I'd rather do it on the rant. It's really fun.
On the table in front of us, we have poured my whiskey of the year for 2024, the Craigellachie 17-year-old, one that we think is actually good value and not overrated.
So it's funny because it started off a little shaky. We're like, oh, like $200 for the Craigellachie 17 in Canada, most places, not so great value. But then the LCBO put it on sale for $130 at one point.
Yeah.
And then like the trickle down effect was crazy because all over Alberta, currently right now you can find this for $100.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any left of this, if you guys are watching this and you're in Canada, find it, because you can't go wrong for $100. This is giving it away for $100.
It's one of those things where it's irresponsible not to buy at least a backup.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, you're never going to find something of this quality, something of this age for $100 Canadian, probably close to ever again, unless something drastic happens.
It really is like an amazing buy right now. These come along once in a while, but you got to take advantage. So yeah, buy
think about
buy
it,
one, buy two, buy whatever.
Even 10 years ago, what 18-year-old were you buying for $100?
Yeah, I mean, good question. You know what I was thinking about was this list about overrated, overpriced, and I was thinking, like, how much is the Aaron 18 now? Because we got that at a great deal.
$100 as well,
right?
Yeah,
I think it was like
crazy.
it was like 100, 120 or something like that. And what is it now? Like 250 or something?
It's north of 2.
Wow,
it's north of 2, and most 18-year-olds are now.
Sure,
right? Like we talked about the Tamdu, we both really liked it, but the price was just a little bit up there. It's close to $300 now.
Right? Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of great 18-year-olds that I don't buy anymore because they're all approaching that $200 mark. I think Bunnahabhain 18-year-old is around $200 on sale at the moment. So it's like they're all expensive now. You know, I remember when I was buying my first few 18-year-olds and they were around the $130, $120 mark. That was like the Glenlivet 18, the Glenfiddich 18 back in the day at the LCBO.
Yeah, you know? Those are good prices.
And then now they're at least $200.
Fuck. Yeah, man. All right, well, let's get into it.
Let's get into this list.
Yeah, you take the honors in this one since this is your thing.
So,
but we might not meet my picks tonight. I might be losing some friends.
We didn't play
some
nice.
Shots fired.
I have a feeling you didn't play nice on this because we don't even know each other's lists. But I didn't play nice. How many did you pick? You picked 5?
I just got a list. I don't know. Maybe like I got 7 written down.
Yeah, I got about 6. I kind of like. I wanted to pick the egregious offenders, but there's one on the list that's not necessarily an egregious offender, but I really didn't like what they decided to do with one of their most recent releases, so I had to call them out. For the most part, I do like this distillery, so I'm going to start with the least egregious to the most egregious.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That makes sense?
Fire away.
Right? So I think the least egregious on this list is Kavalan. And the reason I put them on the list is because you recently shared with me their most, I keep saying recent, but their most recent release of the Kavalan Oloroso Sherry 15-year anniversary.
Yep.
Packaging is beautiful. The bottle is beautiful. It came with a glass. It came with like fun stuff. I don't know exactly. A coaster. Nice box.
Yeah.
You and I don't give a shit about any of that stuff.
I'm going to throw it all away.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel that they've had younger releases that were far better. And I know you really like the nose on that one, and we don't have to agree on this, But I feel like if you're gonna put that much attention to something, it should be one of your best liquids in house.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, that review that's coming out soon for me, but it did remind me pretty much of like their best Oloroso stuff, which I've tried, which is that early like 2006.
Yeah, I remember there was like a really like a banger.
The first year they came up with their sherry
Kavalan
stuff. Yeah, not even Kavalan, like before Kavalan.
Okay.
Like they came out with, I think it was probably their first year of releasing. Anyway, I think it was like a 2006 distillate.
Right.
The sherry cask stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The single barrel, single cask. It won like a lot of awards, and it was like it's very well praised, and people still go to it on auctions. You can find those ones on auction; they go for a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's not really beating that. It's kind of like on par with that whiskey.
Would you say it's better than any of the virgin oaks that you've tried?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to compare it to the virgin oak, I would take probably my favorite virgin oak over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
But
about
those
the
virgin
PX?
oaks, yeah, the PX is great too.
Right.
I'd say it's almost equal to the PX. I mean, I don't think you're getting something from that's mind-blowingly better than other stuff they come out with in the past.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of my point with this. This one
Yeah.
was significantly more expensive than all of them.
Yeah, and the prices of some of those Kavalans are expensive.
Yeah, like Kavalan is expensive for the most part. They're appealing to a different demographic for the most part. They, you know, their prices range from minimum like 180 to like
if you're looking at the Solus single casks.
yeah 180 to like $500 ish.
I mean, if you're looking at even some of those like special sherry finishes or sherry maturations are $600.
They can creep up to $600,
right?
For the most part, they sit on shelves when they do.
Yeah.
Right. But this one was over $700 retail. I know you guys got it for a little bit less, being part of a group and stuff like that. But for me, I just feel like it was an error on Kavalan's part doing this the way they did. The other one was a bourbon cask, which I haven't tried, and I'm sure it's great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not I'm not discrediting what's inside the bottle, because I think it's good. It's just not $700 plus good.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think it's overpriced in my opinion. Like back in the day, we bought the 14-year-old virgin oak cask.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like $280 or something in that ballpark. They've creeped up a lot in price recently. They're all in the threes now, even for younger stuff.
Yeah.
But that was a steal.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
So that's my number one, or my number 6, or whatever number I'm doing.
I got one for overrated, and maybe I'll lose some friends with this one, but it's the Lagavulin Offerman series.
Okay.
I do not like that series really that much at all.
Yeah, you never
I
did.
know that you said some good things about some of the releases. I've always said I would take the 8-year-old over those Offermans.
Yep.
And we just did a video on what's the best Lagavulin 12-year-old cask strength. And even though that's like so much more money, it just blows it away, I think, for me.
Yeah, the 12-year-old is in a different ballpark.
Yeah.
It's not even a fair comparison. My reasoning for liking the Lagavulin Offerman is you get to taste some Lagavulin that's usually a reasonable price. It's like $110, like $5 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I like it so much. But I do agree with you. You can get the 8-year-old for less, and it is better.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I agree.
Overrated, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, I guess that's back at me. Now, like, without trying to be repetitive on a lot of these, because we know who the egregious offenders are for the most part. It's obvious. I think the next one that I want to talk to is a distillery that usually, more frequently than not, does it right. So I'm not talking about their whole line. I'm talking about specifically one aspect of their lineup, and it's the Octomore from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Okay, I like Octomore, don't get me wrong. And I bought them, and I have 2 Octomores that I recently purchased within the last 2 years sitting on my shelf over here. I don't really revisit them often because it's one of those things where I don't feel they're very pour and play.
It's a mood whiskey.
It's a mood whiskey for sure. And you want to get into the 0.3 series in any year, you're looking at north of $300.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Even on sale.
Close to 400.
That's what I mean. Like even on sale, by the time you get it here, you're close to 4. If you get it on sale, you're maybe a little closer to 3. It's crazy expensive for what's a 5-year-old whiskey. The turnaround on this bottle is obscene for these guys.
Yeah.
Like they must be getting an absurd amount of bottles out of casks, and then they're charging more per year than I think anybody else on the planet.
Yeah.
It has to be more per year than anybody else because even at $300 on the dot, that's a lot of money per year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're okay. So and the best, you can compare it just with stuff in house. Their Bruichladdich 18, the unpeated stuff, is less than $300.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and in some places you can get it for as low as $200 Canadian. So like, it doesn't, the discrepancy, okay, I get it. There's a little bit more attention to detail. It's heavily peated, all these things. Miko Tour did something similar. Yeah, they didn't go cask strength, but they're all coming in under $90.
Yeah.
And it's 5 years old as well.
Yeah.
So
Octomore was on my list as well. It's just overpriced for what it is right now.
Yeah, super overpriced. And there are a lot of them that are way overrated too. Like we buy them blindly thinking, okay, it's Octomore.
Yeah.
But unless it's a 0.3, you're rolling the dice.
I agree. And I mean, we haven't tried too many of like the 0.2s or the 0.4s. But yeah, you're right, man. Like buying a new new release Octomore right now is a pretty big gamble, I feel, for the price that you're having to pay.
Yeah.
Because like we were buying Octomores for $160 Canadian.
Yeah. And that was a 0.3, the 6.3.
That's right.
And the 7.3.
Yes. Right?
You know?
And like now it's like those have doubled in price, more than doubled even.
Yeah.
So now it's like, wow, it can't be worth it. Not in my opinion.
Those are good times.
So yeah, that was on my list as well.
All right, so I kind of ruined your next pick.
No, all good. I got more. One that I'll stick with Pete, and one that I think is overrated is, and tell me if I'm crazy on this, Killkerran heavily peated.
I think you're bang on.
It's my least favorite Killkerran.
It's my least favorite from the Springbank like conglomerate.
Umbrella.
Yeah, the umbrella. Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that, but like when they up the peat, I don't know. It's just like it gives me this note that just doesn't jive well with the rest of the whiskey. It kind of makes it unbalanced, and like it's my least favorite Killkerran. And yeah, maybe actually you're right. My least favorite from all the Springbank umbrella of whiskeys. Yeah,
it just got this like weird black licorice-y kind of like smoke to it. It definitely tastes super young. I think the only time I've ever experienced something similar is with some of the like not so good local barleys that we've had. We've had some banger local barleys, and then we've, in my opinion, had some local barleys that were just not very good at all. And that's the closest thing in comparison I can think of. When Springbank's younger than 10, sometimes it just falls flat. We've experienced completely different things with Springbank 8, Sherry Society, and even the 5-year-old Society. You know, I haven't tried the newest Long Grow Red, which is a 7-year-old, but I've heard good things. I don't know what it is about that heavily peated, but it just has this off-putting, like, soury kind of black licorice-y kind of note.
Do you think they're maybe like taking, I don't know, they're trying to like hide, like they're blending in peated whiskey with some other casks that maybe aren't performing well, and that's where they're heavily peated? Do you think they're like trying to mask it maybe with their junk stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
not that they have that much junk stuff, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think when Davin was here, he quoted something, and I'm going to butcher it, so I'm not going to try, but it's something along the lines of, if you want to hide a bad whiskey, you do it with a higher ABV. You want to reveal a good whiskey, you do it with a lower ABV. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, when you're bringing something down to 46%, it better be good, because there's not that like overwhelming sensation on the palate that might mask some of the not so good nuances.
Yeah, he said something like bottle at cask strength to hide the imperfections or something, like that. Something like that.
So I think that's exactly what's happening with the heavily peated. Not always, of course. We know that Springbank bottles at cask strength, that 12, that's always amazing. You know, I don't think I've ever had a bad 12.
Yeah. Do you want to comment on this Craigellachie? I've read it before and talked lots about it, but what are you getting on this?
So I think it's really cool that Craigellachie gets a malt that's different. Nobody else can get this malt in Scotland. It's only theirs. They're the only ones using it. Craigellachie in general, the 13, the 17, the 23 that we've tried, which is an absolute banger.
Mm-hmm.
They have this like dense characteristic to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this nice viscosity, almost porridge like. Obviously, it's not that intense, right? Like, it's not porridge, but it's like really, really dense. Really nice flavors of honey and all kinds of really cool things going on. 46%, unchill filtered.
No Alex.
And I love their bottles. I don't know what it is about it.
I like it too. Yeah, I like their label.
The label. I like
it's
the
kind
bottle.
of like this guy. It's got that old timey, I don't know, like medicine. You know, it's like
It does.
it's like 1800 medicine cabinet style of label and look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I could see this in a movie, like a post-apocalyptic movie where this is like hidden under the dirt and you pull it out and like, wow,
Yeah, it's
this
like
is
a
a long time
relic.
ago.
Yeah, you're totally right about like the malt. It does shine through on this. I think they blend it super, super well. You do get a lot of like cereal grainy kind of things that complement like the vanillas and the honeys. I get like a really nice like peach kind of note to it as well.
Yep.
I think that the ex-bourbon casks they've used for this are really, really good. I mentioned that in my review. If you try the 13 compared to this, the 13 gives you more sherry influence, I feel.
Okay.
But it doesn't have that really nice, complex ex-bourbon style that this one has a lot of in it.
Yeah.
It is ex-bourbon and sherry.
I love the 13 as well. I
Yeah.
think it's great. I just blown away at what you're getting, Craig. Like, something must be happening with their line right now, because the 13 you can get in Alberta for like $55.
Yeah, they are super discounting these in our market right now.
Yeah.
Maybe because I don't know if Craigellachie is rebranding or something else is coming out. Usually that's a prerequisite for...
Yeah, usually right before there's a bottle change or something changing in the core range,
They blow out
they blow out what's
the
left.
old ones. Yeah.
Maybe they got a lot of this 17-year-old, and that's why they're blowing it out. The 23 doesn't exist anymore. Like, I haven't seen one around on dusty shelves anywhere for at least 2 years now.
Yeah, and then, like Craigellachie is weird, like especially the 17, the global market. Like people tell me like they can find this in the U.S. at Costco for like $100. Some people tell me it's like $175. Like the range of where this is priced in different parts of the world is crazy. But I think like Canada's got to have it the cheapest right now.
Yeah, it
Like
must be.
100 Canadian dollars, which is like what 75 US or something like
Yeah,
that.
50 pounds.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's like it's nothing.
yeah, so that's
Like
great.
giving it away.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'll score it maybe later on, but
Sure.
I really enjoy it.
Is it my pick or yours?
You did the. We talked about Octomore. We talked about. Oh, you talked about heavily peated, so I guess it's mine.
Okay. Fire away.
All right. Next one. Okay, I mean, I guess the next least egregious offender, but still getting up there in like ridiculousness, is Balvenie.
Yeah.
Okay, so from their core range, which I'm not even sure what that is anymore because there's weird expressions of Balvenie coming out.
There
all
are
the
weird
time.
ones coming out, yeah.
But from their 12, their 14 Caribbean cask, those are both overpriced and garbage. I mean, they used to be decent.
Honestly, I can attest to the double oak,
Yeah.
the 12 double oak, because I bought a bottle of that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's a shell of itself.
Right. It
From what
used
I
to be-
remember it being.
Used to be way better.
It's just so thin now.
Yeah,
Like
and-
they've used refill casks over and over, I feel.
I think that's happening a lot in Scotland right now. I think the 25 is an absolute joke. It's over $1,200 in most markets.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is a time where whiskey is expensive. Everything in the 25-year range is between, if you're really lucky, $400
Yeah.
up to $800, right? And then
Yeah.
you have your egregious offenders that, like, you know, Springbank's a little guilty here. Macallan, they're gonna come up very soon. Don't worry. But Balvenie, like, who the hell do you think you are, charging $1,200 for a whiskey? Like, it just blows my mind. You're 46%. You're not like coming in at cask strength. There's some real egregious offenders out there when it comes to the 25-year-old range.
Yeah.
But majority of people have their head on straight and said, okay, let's go to the lower end of high here. Because there's no, like, other than a knock 24, everybody's hands are dirty at this age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody in Scotland, their hands are dirty. Like, it's getting too expensive.
Yeah. Glenfarclas, which was the best priced 25-year-old, I think that's jumped up big time too.
Yeah, it's close to like $500 now.
And it used to be 250.
Yeah.
And it's doubled it.
Yeah.
Everyone's doubled it.
I think a knock 24, and they're discontinuing it. I don't know if they're going to be making it anymore, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the last of what was a reasonable price to get close to 25 years old.
Yeah.
But Balvenie, $1,200. Keep your damn whiskey.
It's honestly crazy. Even like, even a long time ago, like the 17-year-old double wood was way overpriced.
Yeah,
for what it
21's
was.
way overpriced for a 40% liquid.
Yeah, and like the 15 single casks, I don't know how much those are, $280 or something.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a better deal on those ones.
The
in
U.S. market is way better for those.
Yeah.
It's like double what it is here versus the U.S.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, I don't know. I haven't bought any of those like 15-year-old single casks in a long time just because the price has gotten crazy. Some of the old ones were really good.
Yeah.
We've had some really nice ones.
The last one I bought here, I paid $300 for. And that was 3 years ago.
Wow. And like at auction, I went back and I bought the 15 traditional cask or traditional oak or whatever. Anyways, just ex-bourbon. Single barrel ex-bourbon stuff, which was really, really nice as well.
Yeah.
And I know if you go back and watch Ralphie's old collection videos, he's stored some that he thought were amazing. The 15 traditional casks.
It just bothers me so much.
It's crazy.
Balvenie has like this flavor when it gets to their older stuff that is absolutely incredible. Like, you'll see it in some of the tons. I've tasted the 30-year-old and it was there. It's just, they have this like incredible like buckwheat honey kind of note.
Yeah.
That you really won't get on any other whiskey.
Yeah.
But
I will credit Balvenie. Do you say Balvenie or Balvenie?
I said Balvenie.
Balvenie?
Balvenie? Yeah.
Balvenie?
I don't know. What did I say?
Balvenie or
You're making me question my own.
Balvenie.
Balvenie, I say.
No, this is pronounced a different way too, though. Balvenie.
Yeah, the Scottish.
Balvenie, Balvenie.
Maybe.
I don't know. Whatever way I say it is wrong because I always.
I'm sure I say it wrong as well.
Balvenie. Balvenie.
I will give them credit. I don't think they've released just like an NAS entry level junk bottle. I think they've kept the age statement on every single bottle they release, minus the tons, right? The tons didn't have an age statement, but those get a pass because that was legit the best NAS whiskey of all time. Mm-hmm. So I will give them credit for that.
Okay.
They've kept their age statements and they haven't NAS some stuff.
So, okay, answer this question then.
Yeah.
Would you rather a 12 double oak at 40%, or they rejig the 12 or the double oak and make it NAS, but it comes in at 50%? And like better.
There's no, if it's
well, because they'll probably use more sherry cask, more because it's gonna be younger, right? So you're gonna get to incorporate some like 4-year-old sherry in that or whatever. And
I mean, without knowing how that new NAS tasted, I would probably say I'd take the NAS at 50%.
Right?
Because the 40% or 43 depends. They bottle it at both strengths.
I think when they're a higher ABV, they can almost do no wrong.
Yeah, when they bottle it, what's those like 15s? It's like 47.8 or some weird ABV, right? Yeah. It's almost 48%, and they should do all that stuff. At least they should do 46 for the 12.
The day they dropped the 21 from 47.5 to 40% was the day they died.
And stop doing different ABVs for different markets.
Yeah.
Why would you do 40% in the UK and then 43 in North America?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
That would piss me off.
In a trade, when I started Whiskey in the Six, I traded for a Balvenie 21 that was 47.5%. I had no idea how good I had it back then. Mm-hmm. And I really wish I didn't open that bottle until now.
Yeah, that's another crazy one.
Yeah. It was... I think you got to try that one.
They bottled that at like 3 different ABVs,
yeah,
depending where you lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the one that I had was a UK release, 47.5.
There was a travel retail that was up there in ABV as well.
Yeah.
And then some of them were 40 and some of them were 43.
I did not know what I had back then.
Why? Why are you doing that?
Do you ever think about that? Like how much good whiskey was wasted on our too early?
Dude, you talk about, I'm sure like people have talked to you as well about people who've been drinking whiskey for 40 years.
Yeah.
And they're saying the exact same things that we're saying. They're like, yeah, man, that's the way she goes.
I guess so.
But like, it's not just inflation, right? It's like, it's astronomical, like jumps in prices. Of course I had Balvenie on my list. I said overpriced Balvenie 12 and 15. And then I said pretty much every single Balvenie is overpriced.
Yeah, they probably are. I would agree with that. This is so good.
It's so good, right?
It's so good.
It's just like a nice pour. Anytime.
Yeah. It's a great pour and play whiskey.
It's crushable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sit back and drink it.
Yeah.
Drink it down. Okay. My turn, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. This one is going to be one that, like, get your finger over the unsubscribe button right now.
Just on his channel, though, not mine. He can afford to leave a couple.
Overrated. Ardnamurchan. Ardnamurchan.
Man, I think I agree with you here. I'm going to let you talk.
Fucking rated whiskey. Now, I will preview this. I haven't tried a lot of their stuff. And I know that there's some single barrel stuff out there that people rave about, whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet. The stuff that I have tried is just pretty average whiskey. Yeah. Like the stuff the LCBO brought in, it's not good.
No.
I don't know what bottles they're right now, but the one that they had, I tried it. I was like, meh. For how much hype this distillery is getting, especially from like people in the aquavitae circles and
the guys closest to the distillery, I think,
other reviewers really over there,
passionate about
and
it.
I'm sure that this the bottle that Aquavitae got that he put his like name on is actually probably solid.
I'm sure
it's great.
Yeah.
I'm sure that one is great. But from what I've had from their distillery is not good. And if you have this new distillery that's like getting all this hype, but some of your stuff is just very, very average. I think it's overrated. And I would love to be proven wrong. I would love to try something that blows me away, but I have not tried that yet.
I'm going to piggyback on this one because I went out of my way to get that sherry cask that they released. And again, it was probably only like 5 or 6 years old. I'm not exactly sure, but I was so disappointed with that whiskey.
Really? Yeah.
It was so disappointing. And like, I have it sitting up there. I may have even given it away at this point because it was full. Like I just did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy it. And like I went back to it so many different times trying to like, okay, maybe it needed to open up, or maybe just not good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for the hype, it's yet to impress me.
I'm with you.
All right.
We've been agreeing quite a bit tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Yamazaki 12.
Yamazaki
and
12.
18 years old.
Yes.
Yamazaki 12 is $400 at the LCBO.
Are you serious?
In Alberta, also $400.
$400 for the 12.
You want to get this though? The regular 18-year-old Yamazaki is $1,500. And then there's a special edition 18-year-old that says Mizunara, because I guess the other ones are not Mizunara, but I thought they were. $4,000.
No.
This is 18-year-old whiskey.
No.
Yes. 18-year-old whiskey. 400. 1,500.
That's just criminal, man.
And 4,000. First of all, where are you getting these increments? Like, how? How does that make sense? You jump from 400 to 1,500, so you add on $1,100 for 6 years,
right?
And then there's also 18-year-old whiskey that, you know what, this one is special. It's an anniversary edition Mizunara. Maybe it's all aged in Mizunara, I guess. I don't know what the reasoning is. $4,000. 18 years old. What the hell are we doing here?
Do you think there is a Mazzanara matured whiskey anywhere in the world that's good value?
No.
There can't be.
No, because just buying those casks is absurd. I really want to know how scarce Mizunara wood is in Japan.
You know who's doing a Mizunara cask? Someone sent me this. Who sent me this?
Glenallachie,
Yes.
17-year-old.
Glenallachie is doing a 17-year-old.
Which is also absurdly priced.
Right?
But they get a pass because they're well priced across the board for the most part.
Yeah. You're right. There it is. Yeah.
What's the price?
17-year-old. I don't know what the price is.
I feel like it was over $400.
It's overpriced, I think.
Yeah, Yamazaki, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, people want to try your whiskey, but like, we also don't want to have to sacrifice a kidney and a left testicle in order to get your whiskey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That's crazy. And I think it's just appealing to people who want to drink stuff that other people can't afford, and then you just have it because no one else can have it because it's way too much money.
Yeah.
It's like what Macallan has done. I don't know who's buying that stuff. Just like rich business people who just want to have it because it's that much money.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's not worth the price. I didn't know those prices have jumped that much.
It's crazy.
I wonder what you can.
Not even just LCBO. That's like in Alberta too. It's that expensive.
Because I know, like in the U.S., you used to be able to buy like pre-pandemic Yamazaki 12 for about 100 to 120.
Yeah, I went to the U.S. and I bought a Yamazaki 12. I think it was just under 100 American.
Yeah.
This was when...
And that was pretty expensive for a 12-year-old.
Back then, that was expensive.
Yeah.
But that's already after like the hype on Yamazaki. Because I remember watching a South Florida Pete Lovers video, and they were reviewing the 18-year-old Yamazaki.
Yeah.
And they got it for like $110
Yep.
American.
Yeah.
You know?
I think they have a video of that versus Macallan, because that was always a good comparison.
Yeah. And they did. And I miss those guys. We should have them.
I do miss those guys too.
We got to talk to those guys again.
Yeah.
But yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, that's crazy. I had no idea that those are the prices here at the LCBO. I wonder what they are in the US, if it's super like outrageous there now, or if it's just kind of gone up a little bit.
I think it's pretty outrageous there as well. I think you and I made a trade for Hakushu 12.
Hakushu 12, yeah. I still have some of that bottle.
It was like
actually.
$80.
Yeah.
Right? It was $80.
Those have jumped too. You could probably put that on the list. Anything
Yeah.
Japanese whiskey, really, from like Hibiki, Yamazaki, or Hakushu are all just crazy.
The Hibiki 21, I think, is over $1,000.
Hibiki's gone crazy. Yeah, they've gone crazy. I'm out of whiskey, so I think now is a good time to bring in that bottle.
That's what I was thinking. I was gonna wait for you to say what you're gonna say first.
Yeah, and this one, you don't need to even say it. It's just a given. It's Ardbeg. I actually found this when I was going through the cabinet. I'm like, oh, I still have a Dark Cove. There's like a little kill in there, so I figured I'd bring it and we talk about it and drink this down, because I feel like this Ardbeg Dark Cove, this release and the committee release, was probably the last time that I would say was worth the price of admission for an Ardbeg special release or any one of these releases. Since then, since Ardbeg Dark Cove, it's gone downhill in the committee releases, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe you had a decent one in there, but for the most part...
I think the black was pretty good.
I wasn't a big fan.
You weren't a fan.
Wasn't a big fan of it.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big fan of it. If I think that the Corey Vrecken is better, then...
It's a fair point.
I can't be like, yeah, this is worth the price.
And this is the problem with why I didn't put Ardbeg on the list, and I thought about them, is their 5 and 10-year-old are still very reasonably priced.
I think the 10-year-old is the only whiskey I'd buy from them right now.
The 10-year-old's always good. You can get the Ugadal and the Corey for reasonable prices in Alberta. They're like low hundreds.
You can find them for reasonable prices in some markets as well. Not here, not in Ontario, though.
And there's some of the new special releases are going on sale because I guess the exact same reason a lot of things are going on sale right now is nobody's buying them.
Can I get another glass?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know like what some of the new ones are. Like they had the punk rock one. Mike and Narby posted an Ardbeg that I hadn't seen before, and they're like, "This one is amazing." Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm going to pull it up right now.
I do not.
Because I was like, what release is this? I'm like, you guys just find the things that...
It's funny you mentioned Ardbeg after us trying one of the best Ardbegs we've ever had.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
Yeah,
What was
I
that,
mentioned
the summer
that too.
just passed?
Ardbeg the Abyss. You seen this? Look at this container it comes in. The fuck is this?
I've never seen that.
Holy, it looks like something out of, I don't know, Doctor Who.
Yeah, I guess I'll let you do the honors of the bottle kill.
So this is on their Instagram. If you guys don't follow malt reviews on Instagram or YouTube, you should definitely. But yeah, they just said that Ardbeg Abyss was one of our very best whiskeys we tried in 2024. So there you go. It's on the screen. I'll pull it up. I can't really make out the ABV, but I'll put it up there on the screen. Anyway, doesn't look like it has an age statement on it, but it could be a single barrel. I'm not really sure. But I'll find out more about that. I'm sure. What do you think the price is? Let's just guess in U.S. dollars. How much do you think that price?
It's got to be over $3,000. No? I don't know. They have a fancy like 25-year-old bottle. Like the bottle on the 25-year-old is nuts, and that's not even $3,000. So maybe I'm wrong, but what would be the point of that case?
I would say it's got to be $2,000.
Yeah,
right.
It's got to be up there
because like how much is just the 19-year-old right now?
I think between 400 and 600. I don't know. I don't think it's gone close to 600 actually.
Okay.
This one's got sherry influence, I guess.
It does have sherry in it. Yeah.
You don't get a lot of Ardbeg that has sherry.
No, you don't. So this is Ardbeg Dark Cove. This is the regular release, 46.5% ABV. The committee release was at a higher ABV, 50 something. Not really sure. I kind of forget. I had a bottle of it. It was very, very good. This has been sitting open for a while.
Yeah.
Sometimes with peated sherry influence, I don't always love it, but this one I did.
Yeah, peated sherry, you're gonna get this like. You have to be okay with getting a little bit of like a black licorice kind of note. Yeah. Because you'll always kind of get that.
Mm. Yeah, this is nice. Now it's bringing me back. What year was this out in?
I want to say that's got to be like 2016, 2017.
You are bang on 2016. 10/02/2016.
Nice.
Was this one.
Good guess.
There you go. So
good
yeah,
stuff.
I mean,
the palate's beautiful.
8-9ish years, 9-something years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Anyway,
you are really good at not killing your bottles.
This one had a ton of dust on it, and I was like, "Wow, I still have this, man."
All right.
See, like I was probably saving it for like a, let's try this versus something new from Ardbeg and see how it compares to Dark Cove. But since I'm not buying anything new from Ardbeg, might as well take it down. Yeah, but Ardbeg it was without said. I mean, you mentioned Macallan earlier. I don't think you really need to talk to you extensively about that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll both. I think I'll just. There's one even more egregious offender than Macallan, but I want to talk a little bit about Macallan because I do worry about where. Like they tend to head the market as far as like what you can charge for. They're the top of the food chain when it comes to what you can charge for an 18-year-old, what you can charge for a 12-year-old, what you can charge for a 15-year-old, all these different things. And you can see other distilleries trying to take that as a lead. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, well, Macallan's charging almost $200 for their 12-year-old, so we can charge $130 and be okay with that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of distilleries that in their head, like, we're better than them. We're giving you a cask strength product. We're giving you a 46% product. So we should be able to charge almost as much as those guys. So that's the problem with Macallan. It's not necessarily what they've done, because what they've done is make guys like you and me and a bunch of like regular Joes have their product unattainable. Like
you're saying they've lifted the floor for all pricing on Scotch whiskey.
And it's kind of like that thing, like you see it in sports a lot. It's like this coach can't go in and get less than this amount, because if he gets less than this amount, he's the best coach in the league. Everybody's going to use that as the, direction as to what their contract should look like. Mm-hmm. That's what Macallan's done with whiskey and Scotch in general. Scotch as like specifically, I mean, because now that Macallan's charging, on sale right now, you can buy the Sherry Oak 12-year-old for $150 Canadian. But that's not at your door. That's like you gotta pay taxes, shipping, all that other stuff. So now what's happening? Everybody else is creeping up to that $150 mark. Then the 15-year-old is $300 Canadian. Mm-hmm. Absurd price for a 15-year-old. Again, same idea. And it's a 43. Like, keep this in mind. They're all 43%.
Yeah.
15-year-old, 43%, $300 Canadian. It doesn't even come in a sherry oak option. Just the double oak.
Yeah.
So you're getting cheaper costing oak from American wood.
Yeah.
And that's $300 somehow. Then you go creep up to the 18. You can get a mediocre 18-year-old of the double oak at $650-$700. And then the sherry oak is $800 plus Canadian across the board.
Yeah, it's wild.
Let's not even talk about the 25 and 30 because it's absolutely bonkers. Like I think the 25 now is $2,000 or more.
Yeah.
And the 30 is like over $10,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
So they've decided to take the helm and increase. What they've done is they've increased all of Scotch.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's sustainable because you're starting to see, like, I don't know if you've read any of the reports on what's happening in the States right now, but like Jack Daniels is closing warehouses and doing a huge layoff. So is Woodford Reserve.
The bourbon boom.
Yeah, it's finally not booming, right? Huge layoff at Woodford Reserve as well, which you feel for these employees.
That's surprising, actually, if those big names are doing it.
I know. But the thing, like, isn't this going to happen in Scotland too?
Yeah.
A lot of these smaller distilleries that don't have the Hollywood fame that Macallan does might not be able to sustain this market. They might not be able to last.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that in the short term, it'll be good for consumers. Like, prices should go down. Whiskey will have to get better. There's no putting shit cask into NAS stuff anymore. It's like, if people are going to be selective of what they buy, you're not going to get away with stuff like that. So, good for consumers, and I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
You know what's scary? One last thing on Macallan is probably the best stuff that they've produced under 18 years old in the last 10 years is their Edition series. Because the Edition series was actually good stuff. Like, the 1 was awesome. Mm-hmm. The 2 was very good. 3 was very good, I thought. It started to, like, decline from there a little bit, but
it picked back up with, like, I thought 6 was good. Or was it
6 was
5?
good. 4 was, like, they were all had a place. At 48%, you could see, like, okay, you know what? These are worth getting.
Yeah.
They're worth getting for under $200. You know what I mean? And that's a great example of what we brought up earlier with the Balvenie stuff. Like, you take an NAS Balvenie at 50% all day over the garbage 12-year-old that they have. I would take an NAS Macallan all day over the 12-year-old 43% garbage that they have now.
Well, they gave you a classic cut. I don't think that the new ones anyone's running out to get it.
Yeah, because now they're incorporating bourbon cask into it. But, like, Macallan is not known for their bourbon cask.
No.
Right? So if you're giving us something sub $200, and the classic cuts are now over $200. They're like $250.
Yep.
So if you're giving me a sub, like, bring it in at 48%. Do something similar to the Edition series, but make that your, like, in your standard lineup. Mm-hmm. Make that right before. Make it 10 years old.
Yeah.
Don't even call it a 10-year-old because you can add some 8-year-old in it if you want. Make it an NAS. Make it sherried. European oak. People are going to love it.
Yeah.
Make it reasonable in price. For God's sakes.
Do you got anything else? Because my list is essentially dried up. Like, I had a couple of things on there, but I don't know if they're even worth mentioning.
I got one that's just a disgusting shell of a distillery.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
And that's it. Like, it's just the entire distillery makes me sick to my stomach. Like I hate saying that because I'm sure there's some really quality people that work at this distillery, and it's nothing against you guys. It's just I'm so embarrassed when I disgusted when I look at shelves and see anything Dalmore nowadays.
Oh yes,
Dalmore is the worst.
Fuck Dalmore.
They're gross. Like, there's nothing redeemable about them right now. The quality of their liquid is garbage.
Honestly, I was like, what are you even talking about? And you said Dalmore. I'm like, oh yeah, Dalmore still exists.
I don't think I've purchased a Dalmore in forever, but like they're terrible.
Yeah.
They're charging. They tried to charge $500 for their 18-year-old for a long time, and nobody bought it. So they brought it back down to like I don't know what it is now, like low fours, maybe 4. No one's buying it at 4 either because it's trash.
Yeah.
No, like I don't know anybody that would reasonably buy that 21-year-old and be like, yeah, I love this whiskey. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Added color and all kinds of fun garbage things. Nobody's like. That is my definition of I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole.
Yeah.
That Ralphie said back in the day.
Wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. Dalmore is like, I don't know, it's like it tries to get the spillover from Macallan. Like it wants to be as cool as Macallan and have the prestige. But it just doesn't.
Yeah.
And like, it's just, they must have like E150 colorant just on order at all times. Like it must just be coming into that distillery as fast as whiskey's going out.
It has to because like it doesn't taste like quality sherry casks.
It's so thin.
It's super thin. You can kind of taste the E150 because there's probably so much of it. Like I feel like I can taste chemical when I drink that.
Ralphie can taste it.
Yeah.
Ralphie knows what E150 tastes like.
Dalmore's gross.
He's got a knack for it.
There was a time where I really liked the 18-year-old. And it was a reasonable price. It was like low hundreds.
Yeah.
Then it just like skyrocketed, and now it's just garbage.
I think I reviewed the cigar malt. I think I said like I think they bottled it at like 46 or 47 or something.
Something like that.
If they bottled this I'm thinking they said like if they bottled this at any lower, it would taste like nothing. Because even then it was like thin and it was like really pretty weak. Like how do you have a whiskey that tastes weak at like 48%?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right?
Yeah, they have to be my most overrated.
I forgot about them
of all time.
I forgot about them.
Yeah, they're the most overrated distillery on the planet.
Do you think they get a lot of like market share because of their branding and packaging and their bottle? Like I like the look of their bottle. Like it has a little stag.
Yeah, the same
that like
dude
breaks
that's
off
buying
and falls on the floor. And
yeah, the same dude that's buying Hennessy XO is buying Dalmore 21 just because the bottles look cool and they want to show off to their friends and. Yeah. But it's junk. Like it's just junk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People love like the bright red color of it and they think it's like, you know, this amazing sherried whiskey and you try it and you're like
listen guys, overrated, overpriced is not meant to make any friends.
Sorry if we trashed your favorite distillery today.
We apologize if you really are passionate about the distilleries we mentioned today, but at the end of the day we're trying to do a service here that may result hopefully in a decline in pricing across the board. It hasn't worked in 9 years. I'm not thinking it's going to work now, but you know, that's kind of the purpose of these overrated, overpriced, because you really hope that someone out there is listening and taking it into account. And like it goes for like all these American distilleries. There's some Canadian distilleries that are starting it too. Try not to get rich off a small group of people. I know it's very tempting, and I know it's one of those things where obviously everybody wants to keep the lights on and all these different things. But you know what it costs to barrel whiskey. I know now what it costs to barrel whiskey because I've been involved in some of this in the last little while, and I kind of have a good grasp of the majority of whiskeys being barreled under $4,000 a cask. Majority in Canada. So if that's happening in Canada, Scotland's probably doing it at a fraction of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, any like established distillery.
Exactly. So don't tell me that your liquid is worth 10 times more than the other guy that has a 6-year-old whiskey or a 10-year-old whiskey, or you know, it's just not.
Yeah, I think with brands like Dalmore or Macallan or Yamazaki, it seems like they're doing that like marketing model, and so whoever's a marketer will tell me what it's called, but it's like when 20% of the market is buying 80% of your product.
Yeah.
It's just like a select few that are buying all of it because they can afford it, and that's just what they want.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't know. It's like it's obviously working. You know, it's like people are buying that shit for that price.
Yeah, I mean, the Asian market's huge, and that's what fuels a lot of the sales of Macallan, maybe even Dalmore.
Yeah.
Maybe even Balvenie.
Yeah. I don't. Do you think there's someone like over in Asia doing an overrated, overpriced whiskey video right now?
I hope so.
I would love to hear their perspective on things because it'd be interesting.
Yeah, if you guys know of any Asian YouTubers doing overrated,
there's
overpriced,
got to be
send
many.
it over.
There's got to be many people doing it, and I would love to like to hear their perspective on what it's like over there.
Let's score these bad boys. So you scored this already?
Yes.
Did you do the review before you did the Whiskey of the Year? Or
yes.
After?
I did it before I did the Whiskey of the Year, and I did it paying 165 Canadian for the bottle, which I thought was a justified price.
Right.
And that's what I said. I mean, someone did comment, it's like, oh, you're just picking Whiskey of the Year because it's like super discounted now. I'm like, no. Like I picked this well before it was even discounted, and I paid 165 Canadian, and I thought that was a justified price for this bottle, and I would pay that again.
Yeah, when I purchased this, like I said, I think I purchased it at the LCBO for $130. Mm-hmm. Then I bought two more at basically worked out to like $105, and then I bought one more at $100.
Yeah.
Okay, and I plan to give one as a gift to somebody, but like all in, obviously that's not including taxes and shipping and whatever else, because it is unfortunate that like we have to pay shipping on bottles and stuff like that. But what an incredible deal for this whiskey.
Yeah.
I think this is at least probably an 87.5, 88.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really good. What'd you give it?
I think I was 8.5 on it.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, great whiskey. Definitely buy all day at that price. I'd buy this at, like you said, $160, and that's definitely fair.
Yep.
And probably give it the same score.
Yep.
You know? If in fact it probably deserves maybe a notch or two more because of the price, but
yeah, I mean if I was scoring this right now and adding value, I'd bump it up a point and a half for value. This thing would get to a 90 with the value included.
Yeah, $100. That's crazy
for sure.
This is really good too.
Yeah, I miss this this Ardbeg Dark Cove. It's peated sherry done right. I mean, I love it. It's everything I like about Ardbeg. It's everything I like about sherried whiskey. It's delicious stuff.
The Lafroig 10, the first batch of Lafroig 10 sherry, I think it was bottled at 48%.
It was pretty solid, yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah.
They're very similar. I really like that one as well. Getting a lot of the same nuances. I would say that I would go as far as saying that this Dark Cove is probably a little bit more balanced, a little bit less like bite. But that's also probably because it's been open for how many years?
Yeah, I mean probably like 7.
Yeah, so
yeah.
It could have something to do with that, but it hasn't gone flat.
No,
and it's still great.
Yeah, impressive actually, because like that kill was probably sitting in there for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Really good,
right?
Really, really good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm probably like I've actually reviewed this before, and I kind of forget what I said, what I scored it, but I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah.
But it's got to be close to 90. I think I probably gave it like an 88 to an 89.
Yeah, I'd
like
give that an 88 for sure.
Yeah,
that's really. I'd buy that if I could right now.
You can just at auction for a crazy price.
Yeah, I don't want to spend more than $300.
But yeah, if that was retail, I'm not sure what these things retailed for back in the day. Around 100.
Honestly, about 150, 100, maybe a little less.
Yeah, I think it was a little less.
Maybe less because it's not the committee release. It's
committee releases, 46. Yeah, committee releases were like over 200, but the regulars were like around 100 something.
Yeah. The new Spectacular is on sale for like 150. I think I tried it at this one, Whiskey Global.
Yeah.
But when you try stuff at like those big festivals and stuff like that, it's really hard to stand out.
It's hard to get a good read.
Hard to get a good read.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely. Leave us a comment down below if you have an overrated or overpriced whiskey in mind that jumps out at you. Throw it in the comments, and I'd love to hear it. And if you agree or disagree with any of our picks, let us know as well.
Yeah.
Where did we go wrong? Where did we go right? Love to hear the comments.
Very curious who disagrees with the ones that we've said.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Someone obviously, there's some Ardnamurchan lovers out there. I think that would snap back at that, but
I could see that.
We'll see. We'll see what they say.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Much appreciated. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Cheers.